In the deepest darkness of the universe, a paradox shatters all definitions of light. How do you capture an image of something that cannot be seen? How do you grasp the shape of a being from which even light cannot escape? How do you face an absence that devours even the notion of facing? And yet, we did it. We saw a black hole. Not with our eyes, but with will, with patience, with the belief that the unknowable could still be felt. This is not just a story of science. This is a story of human spirit, of the longing to pierce through darkness. You are about to enter a journey without gravity, without direction, only depth. The depth of space, the depth of time, the depth of your own awareness. To understand the first image of a black hole, you must abandon the idea of an image. Because this is not a photograph. This is an echo. A moment when the universe allowed us to witness silence itself. To begin, let's return to 1783. In a room without electric light, a man named John Michel wrote down something strange. He imagined a dark star, an object so massive that its gravity would trap even light. He had no telescope, no computer, only intuition. That idea disappeared into history like the object it described, until Einstein arrived. His general theory of relativity shattered old concepts. Space was no longer flat. Time no longer flowed evenly. Gravity wasn't a force, but the curvature of reality itself. From his equations, something terrifying emerged. Karl Schwarzschild was the first to truly look into that equation. And he saw a pit where space-time breaks. From there, scientists began to search for that ghost. But no one saw anything. Only stars, orbiting a void. Only light, stretched beyond recognition. Only silence, suggesting a presence. And then, in 2019, we stopped guessing. We saw. Thanks to a project called the Event Horizon Telescope. A telescope not made of a single device, but a network of radio dishes spread across the Earth. Instruments placed atop high mountains, in frozen deserts, in isolated lands, all working together to form a single massive eye. That eye gazed into galaxy M87 to 55 million light-years away. And at the center of that galaxy, something waited. A supermassive black hole, billions of times more massive than our sun. The data was collected over nights, over years, processed by the most complex algorithms ever written. And at last, a ring of fire appeared. A dark void within the light. A circle of glowing matter swirling around emptiness. That image was not as sharp as imagined. But it was real. It was not a simulation. Not a rendering. It was real light, bent by real space, around a real nothingness. For the first time, humanity saw its own edge. Can you imagine it? A black hole emits no light. But matter spiraling toward it, accelerated to unimaginable speed, heats up and radiates. That light doesn't travel straight. It twists, loops, bends, creating a glowing ring like a lantern burning in fog. And at the center of that fire is the unseeable. That shadow is the event horizon. A boundary beyond which everything cannot return. Not because it's forbidden, but because, from there onward, all paths curve inward. even time. Can you imagine a place where past and future blur? Where everything, light, thought, belief, collapses toward a single point? That is what the image lets us see. Not the image of an object, but the image of limitation itself. When the image was revealed, the world paused, not because it was beautiful, but because it was true. So true that everything else felt uncertain. We looked into the dark and saw a reflection of ourselves. A reflection without form, but full of feeling. Smallness, patience, a hunger to know the unknowable. So, what truly happens if you fall into that black hole? No one knows. No one has returned. But perhaps the question isn't what happens to your body, but what happens to your awareness. Can you still exist when time has stopped? Does you mean anything when there is no space left to occupy? Perhaps the black hole is not an object, but a test of the human mind, a symbol of the final boundary of comprehension. We see it not to understand it, but to remember, the universe always holds more. And while we long to understand it, whether it is light or shadow, we are still alive. If you are still listening, then follow this thread. In the next chapter, we will not just look at darkness. We will go deeper into the question, what lies inside the black hole? Or is it simply the perfect silence of E?